Secretary of State Antony Blinken has arrived in Saudi Arabia this morning, his 5th trip to the Middle East since Hamas attacked Israel on October 7th. His trip comes as the U.S. carried out retaliatory strikes against militia targets in Syria, Iraq, and Yemen over the weekend. CBS News Chief White House correspondent Nancy Cordes is following the latest from Washington. Good morning, Nancy. So what is the president saying about these latest round of strikes?
Good morning, Vlad. Good morning, Anne-Marie. Well, he is speaking through his national security advisor, Jake Sullivan, who was on Face the Nation yesterday and really seemed to be trying to thread a needle. On one hand, they want to send a message to Iran that if you kill or injure American service members, you are going to pay a price. So he said that the strikes that we saw on Friday afternoon are just the beginning, that there will be more, some of it that we will see, some of it that we won't see. He wouldn't describe the scope of the retaliation. But then on the other hand, he made a point of saying that the U.S. response will not be open-ended. And that is really the administration trying to make a point that they are not looking for a long-term conflict with Iran. That's something that they're very wary of. So they have to, again, try to thread this needle of saying, we're going to come after you if you come after American soldiers, but we're not looking for some long-term conflict with a very dangerous Middle Eastern adversary in Iran.
Meantime, the Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, is back in the region, his 5th trip since October. I mean, what we do know about this conflict is the only thing that has made any difference at all has been diplomacy. But he's got a lot on his plate. What is Washington hoping to get out of this trip?
Well, they've got a long list of objectives as he heads back to the Middle East. You know, he's not just going to Saudi Arabia. He's also going to Israel. He's going to Egypt. He's going to Qatar. And what he's going to be doing first and foremost is trying to sell this new proposal that has been signed off on by the U.S., by Qatar, for another hostage swap that would involve a much longer humanitarian pause in Gaza than we saw the first time around. They're really going to be urging the interlocutors who deal with Hamas to try to accept this agreement, try to bring most importantly, U.S. Citizens home, but also to achieve a pause in the fighting. Beyond that, he is going to be pushing for what comes next after this conflict is over. What does Gaza look like? What does the leadership of Gaza look like? What does Israel need to do to make sure that there is space and structure in place for a new, healthier leadership of Gaza? That is a very tall order, especially when you've got various actors in the Middle East who all have very different ideas about what Gaza should look like. He is going to be pushing for a lot more humanitarian aid to Gaza because that is something that the U.S. and Israel have taken a lot of criticism for, not just in the Middle East, but also here at home.
All right, Nancy, thank you.
You're welcome.